to each of you. I was here 2 years ago and saw the youth give a presentation, and I enjoyed it then and I'm enjoying it today. My wife is here, and I might invite her to come up and help me here in just a minute. I'm just going to take a few minutes. I don't want to distract. That's right. I don't want to distract from the spirit that you have here with your youth program. But I would let you know that this is the season of Christmas. It's not the season to receive gifts, it's the season to give gifts. And we should all look for opportunities to bless the lives of others through our kindness, through our thoughtfulness, and through gifts that we can give. Somebody said giving a gift is, the best gift is to give of yourself rather than a token of a gift. My wife and I, many of you know, had an opportunity to serve a mission for our church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I'd love to come here and hear you say saints, because we call ourselves the Latter-day Saints. And that's the name of our church, the Church of Jesus Christ. But we served a mission in Kazakhstan, and we were there for 1.5 years. And that's 18 months. And somebody asked even this morning, did it go by fast? Sometimes it went by fast, other times it went by slow. I think the slowest time was during the winter time when it was so cold. This is a picture, the first picture was the flag of Kazakhstan. This is Sister Taylor and me pointing to Kazakhstan, south of Russia, west of China, north of Kyrgyzstan. If you go down far enough, India is south of Kazakhstan. When we received our assignment to go there, we had no clue what it was about. And people were worried about us. People were worried that we might not be safe. When people hear of any country that ends with Stan, they think of Afghanistan, they think of Iran, they think of some of those places. But we lived in a beautiful place. This is a picture taken out our back window. We were on the 10th floor of a 14-story apartment complex. You can see there's beautiful mountains. And it reminds me of the Rocky Mountains, actually. This is a picture down in front of our house. That's snow. Some of you maybe have never seen snow, but we hadn't seen much of it until we moved to Kazakhstan. And it was very cold during the winter. I guess if 25 degrees below zero is cold, then yeah, it was cold. There was 1 or 2 weeks that went by, and it never got above 0 degrees. But we were very safe. And we bought the right clothing so that we could, and that's a smart thing to do. They say that it's never bad weather, it's just bad clothing. If you have the right clothing, you can stay warm. And you can see that we stayed warm. We had a great time. This is a beautiful lake that is frozen over. And I'd like to tell you that our mission there was not to go and visit the weather or for a cultural exchange, although all of that was interesting to us. Our mission was a humanitarian mission, and we had the opportunity to provide benefit to those that are poor, those who are needy, those who are disabled, children without parents. One of our first projects was a wheelchair project where our church donated, members of our church donated money, and we purchased over 200 wheelchairs to people this happened to be in Kyrgyzstan, which was a neighboring country. And you can see that the man in the last slide was missing a leg. He came in on crutches, and he left in a wheelchair. It was so touching, and these people had tears in their eyes. They were so appreciative of the generosity of the people in our church that donated the funds to do this. And this young lady had withered legs, and she received a wheelchair and was so appreciative. We had other projects. This was a project where for children that have cancer, where this organization would provide living arrangements when the children would come from the inner parts of the country into the city for the cancer treatments for the children. They didn't have any place to stay, and this organization had a place for them to stay, and our church was able to provide bedding, clothing, kitchen. All of that was purchased by our church to benefit the children and their families. We can go to the next one. We also had a project, kind of a big project, for a children's hospital. And they have a kitchen where they feed these children that are in the hospital. And they have the most antiquated cooking equipment that you can imagine. It was a very big burden on those that were providing the services to cook and prepare the food. And go ahead to the next slide. We were able to, they celebrated. They always appreciate, you can imagine, they appreciated what Sister Taylor and I did. In fact, we kept telling them, no, it's not us. We're just here to bring the money from others that have donated. But they sure like to, they thought we came with a bag of money and we were spreading around, but it wasn't our money. What a job. You get to go and do these wonderful things and it isn't even your money. Portions of it was. Here's the kitchen. We provided all new kitchen equipment and it was quite a project and it was a blessing to those children. This is an automatic syringe pump. My wife coaches me. It's medical equipment that provides and we've got medical people here, I know that, so if I say something wrong, I apologize. But the automatic syringe pump would dispense just the right medication to a patient, usually in a recovery room after cancer surgery, and we donated 5 of these machines to the cancer hospital. This is a disabled children's place where children with disabilities spend the day so that their parents can go out and work and provide for their family, and they would come for the day. And our church bought all of this kitchen equipment. Here's an orphanage where they had a sewer problem, plumbing problem, and we provided the funds to dig that trench. You don't see me, several people have said, I don't see you in the trench, and it's true, I didn't get in the trench. But we provided the funds to have a contractor dig out the sewer problem, and the children were able to move back into this orphanage home that was a blessing to them. They had no parents. And this is another disabled children's project where the lady on the right 20 years ago had a daughter that was disabled, and there was no program at all in the city to take care of disabled children. And so she took care of her daughter, and there were others in the community that she started helping, and she ended up with an organization helping hundreds of children with disabilities. And somebody donated land, somebody donated a building on that land, and our church was able to donate those bookshelves that are there and also all of the kitchen equipment. That's the kitchen equipment. And this is an orphanage that we helped. It was on the outskirts of town. Now you might notice, I haven't mentioned this yet, but in Kazakhstan, they're Kazakh people, and they were nomads that lived on this land, and they would travel, kind of like the Native American Indians that would travel and move around, and they would do that. But when they joined the Soviet Union, they were kind of forced to go into cities. And many of those people, the Kazakh people, reside there. These are all Kazakh people. You can see in their faces that there's an Asian look to them. But when the Soviet Union was in place, Russian people were sent down to Kazakhstan to run some of the programs. And so there's second, third, fourth generation Russians that live there. Now the Soviet Union is gone, but those people still live together, and they live peaceably together, the two races. And I found that to be very interesting. But those are not Kazakh, you can tell. We had a hearing aid project where we provided 280 hearing aids for those who were deaf. And this is an audiologist and his wife, and they donated the hearing aids. And then the hearing aids were mailed to Kazakhstan. We had a little trouble getting them out of customs, but he and his brother, next slide, that's his brother. He looks like a rabbi. He's not, but he's an audiologist. And the two brothers came down, and they were able to fit hearing aids to these poor people. Next slide. Now that's a Kazakh woman who's getting a hearing aid. And next. And you can see the look of the Kazakh. They have their own distinct clothing, and they were just wonderful, kind people. Now those are not Kazakh people, that's me and my wife, and those are the hearing aids that we finally got through customs. This lady, now picture this. She came in to be fitted for a hearing aid. She couldn't hear. They put the testing equipment in her ear, the hearing aid, they hook it up to the computer. I don't know anything about it other than they do this. And then they turn it on. And that's their reaction every time. Oh my goodness, I can hear. The next one. And they smiled. And it was so fun. We even did it for children. That little girl received a hearing aid. It's interesting, those with hearing problems, they have their own society and they group together, and so it was not uncommon for a husband and a wife to both be deaf, and their children would inherit those genes and they would be deaf. So we were able to, 4 or 5 or 6 families, we provided hearing aids for the entire family. That's the equipment that they used. Now this lady had a son. She was deaf. She had a son that played the piano. He was 9 years old. She'd never heard him play the piano, never heard music before. And all she could do was put her hand on the piano and feel the vibrations. She told us this story, and I don't want to take too much time, but we had to do translations. These audiologists didn't speak Russian. That's the language down there. 2 languages, Russian and Kazakh. And we had to have translators so that we could even communicate with these folks. And so through the translators, we learned that as she got her hearing aids, that she had never heard any music. So Sister Taylor plays the piano. We took her into the other room, and my wife played a beautiful piece on the piano, and this lady was so thrilled to hear music for the first time. And that's us on our anniversary last October 2017. There's the traditional Kazakh dress. They don't dress like that now, except when we have nice parties and they come with their Kazakh clothes. And it was a great opportunity for us to learn about their culture. Now here's a picture of some of the saints that attend our church. And if you look close, you'll see that many have the Kazakh look and many have a kind of a Russian look. And they get along peaceably together. Same here with the group of men. I just want to tell you that because I've been here a few times, when we came home, our grandsons that were this tall are now this tall. The same things happened with some of these kids. People ask questions about it. How safe did you feel? We felt very safe. It's a very peaceful country. It is not a third world country, at least where we lived. We were in a large city of 2 million people. And not many people own cars, and so there's public transportation. Sister Taylor and I walked, how many, 10,000 miles? We don't know how far. We walked a lot. It was cold. We kept ourselves warm. We lived a wonderful year and a half. We missed some of the pleasures of what we have here. And I noted from the poems that were given, and from the words of some of the songs, the word thank you. How do you say thank you in Hindi? I heard that many times. And that's what all of our hearts should say today, especially during this season. Thank you to God for all the blessings we have here. What a great blessing it is to be alive and to have friends and to have family and to give service to others. And every time I come here, I hear about love and service and kindness and gratefulness and expressing appreciation. And those are wonderful messages that you have. And you young people, listen close. And I think it's fantastic that you're up here giving those messages yourself. I'd like to thank Nan for always being kind to me and my wife as we come and go. We'll visit again. And I hope I haven't taken too much time. I hate to distract from what you've done. All of us should look for opportunities to be of service to others. And we had this great opportunity to go to Kazakhstan. If you want to know how to get there, we can tell you. It's 13 time zones away, so that means it's on the other side of the world. And the people there were so kind to us, and some of them live in such poor conditions. But I thank you for this opportunity and this Christmas season. I wish you the blessings of Jesus Christ. We revere him. We worship him. His name is on our church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Thank you.